Everyone, how are we doing today? It is May 10th, Sunday, May 10th. And if you don't know, today is Mother's Day. So make sure, if you can, if you're lucky enough to be able to do it, reach out and say Happy Mother's Days to all the moms in the world that are in your circle of influence. If you're stay at home, why don't you place a few phone calls and call ladies in your life that are moms and wish them a happy day. Being a mom's hard. It's at least my experience growing up. Being a mom was a lot harder than being a dad. My mom was doing all kinds of things for us growing up. And Mom, I know you watch this, so happy Mother's Day. It's kind of odd having your mom watch your videos every day. It's truly a treat, and I am blessed to have my mom still with me, so that she can watch and send me emails and critique me when I swear and all those good things. So, again, happy Mother's Day, Olivia. Happy Mother's Day. Thank you very much for all you've done in my life. Raising our daughter was truly fun, and to see what she is now is a testament to all the things you've done. So, in the end, happy Mother's Day to everyone. All right. So again, lots of stuff to talk about today. I think the first thing we have to realize is sometimes when I call my shot, it actually works out. If you've been watching this channel for any length of time, I think it was Monday or Tuesday, which would have been the 5th or the 6th, we talked about Tesla potentially leaving California. I actually think there will be a movement here shortly, probably over the next year or two, that companies leave California, right? It's called Cal Exit, a California exit. Tesla will be the first, or could be the first big name, and they're going to go to states like Nevada or Texas, where it's more business friendly and frankly more tax friendly. I think Nevada is going to get a large share of employers coming, especially manufacturing. They are going to give all kinds of tax incentives to diversify their economy, because if they don't, if they stay kind of the travel destination, it's going to be a long road to hoe. So I would imagine if I was in Nevada leadership, I would be reaching out to Tesla immediately, talking about we will give you this or that or this or that, and let's start breaking ground on the next Tesla manufacturing plant. It'll take a while. You can't just raise a manufacturing plant out of nothing. But I don't think Elon Musk is joking. I think there's a very good chance that Tesla has had enough of the socialism and California, I don't know, regulations and government, and they're like, nope, we're done, we're leaving. So I expect him to do that, and I expect other companies, especially, companies, if you really are going to more of the work from home, why would you want to work from home in California? Sure, the weather's nice, don't get me wrong, but you could probably pay people less, and give them a better quality of life if you let them live in other states. And I think that is definitely coming. I think California's government is kind of forcing companies and people to look outside the state with what's coming, because taxes are going up, fees are going up, level of service is going down. It's kind of all the wrong things for poor old California. And again, I think Texas and Nevada are the winners. I think Nevada leadership should really get aggressive and court as many manufacturers as they can immediately. A couple other things I've learned. It looks like 40%, an estimate of 40% of the folks going on unemployment are actually earning more staying home because of the $600 kicker. I think that is the right idea. I think that is a good thing. We have essentially asked people to stop and stay home. I don't think we should be arguing that fact. There is a deadline, a timeout when this ends. It's in July. I do hope that's extended if the stay-at-home order is reinstated and things of that nature. But again, I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think we should be arguing the fact and be upset that some people are making more staying home. We're in something now, so let's not let's not cause additional problems. I mean, just look at what's going on in Brazil. You're seeing some pretty scary headlines in Brazil about they're 30 days away from Armageddon, essentially, and riots and things. So It can get pretty scary out there. Something I'm particularly nervous about that I am watching for because I just don't know the unintended consequences is the Fed is starting to dip their toe into the junk bonds market. They're specifically buying ETFs, so they're not really picking winners and losers per se. But I've done a lot of reading over the years about junk bonds way back in the day when Michael Milken was sort of the pioneer of junk bonds. And junk bonds led to some of the largest acquisitions ever, like was it RJR Nabisco, I think? I don't know, something like that. And basically, junk bonds turned into almost cocaine or crack and just overvalued assets. Junk bonds were easy to raise. There was no downside risk, at least that was the perceived notion. So people paid more and more and more for assets. Asset inflation happened, and the story doesn't end well. I just I just don't know how this doesn't go the same route, right? The buyer of last resort's the Fed. They're dipping their toe in the junk bonds. I don't know why it doesn't end the same way. Maybe it doesn't end so spectacularly because the government can afford to hold these assets, right? And maybe they just bleed them off slowly, but there is going to be a downside risk, unintended consequences. I just don't know what it is. And maybe one of the unintended consequences is the stock market goes up, right? If all this liquidity is rushing in and companies can, have balance sheet recessions going forward, but who cares? Maybe just assets have to go up. This is just asset inflation before consumer inflation. Maybe that's the unintended consequence. I don't know, but it's going to be, I think it'll be something we don't see coming. And that's what really scares me. The real key around these junk bonds that nobody is talking about and makes me very nervous is rating agencies. As I've read it, the Fed doesn't want to buy anything below like a B minus. So basically, there are tons of companies rushing out to issue bonds right now that are B minus and above. And the only reason they're not downgraded now is because the rating agencies haven't lowered them. If you've ever watched The Big Short, right, which talks about the blow up of the real estate market in, the last crash, watch the part about the rating agencies. I remember the guys going in and talking to a lady about, trying to push for downgrades. Didn't happen because the rating agencies knew that if they downgraded them, they wouldn't get business. And it's just this whole toxic mess. So I believe the rating agencies will not do their job again. They won't be forward looking. There will be companies rated B minus and above that shouldn't be, just like there were AAA bonds that shouldn't be. And the rating agencies, I don't really know what they do, frankly. They're just there for a rubber stamp and paid handsomely for it. So I hope I'm wrong. Hope the rating agencies come out and downgrade some companies because clearly retail and restaurants and entertainment and frankly sports franchises and all these things are worth less today. But I don't see the rating agencies doing that. Good news out of the unemployment numbers as you kind of peel it back. 78% of the people filing expect it to be short term. I think that's awesome, right? That's 4 out of 5 people, right? Yeah, almost 4 out of 5 people, and that'd be great news. I don't know, 4 out of 5. That I hope they're right. I really hope they're right. So we shall see. The thing that we really have to watch with the jobs number is something that I've been concerned about for a while, and it goes back to my experience with housing, right? Kind of the '06 crash, and then it just kept feeding on itself. We have to watch the jobs because the bottom end got whacked immediately, restaurants, retail, all of that. I believe we're starting to see the feedback loop up the stack, more and more expensive jobs, right? We saw some in the sharing economy with Airbnb and Uber, I think, and just others coming. If we start seeing it in other technology companies, this could get really scary. I think it's going to happen because in a world of complex sales, right, where I came from, something you may not know is you often have verticals when you get to a certain size, healthcare, public, public companies, state government, state and local government. You can have a federal business. You can have a technology business. You can have communications. You can have financial services. You can have healthcare, manufacturing. You have all these verticals. Most of those verticals are turned off, right? So if you're selling to state and local governments right now, pipeline's trash. You're selling to healthcare now, pipeline's trash. You're selling to retail. Most of you are trash. Maybe some of you are helping them go e-commerce, so maybe there's a little work there. Financial services, sorry, not going to happen. But all these pipelines probably show what's going on. Thank you for doing a book. I could do a post on creative financing, sure. So these are things that concern me because, again, I've worked in a complex sales environment where the average sales cycle is 3/4 in duration, 7 figures when it's all done, very competitive. And, when you're a revenue oriented person, you're the tip of the spear. And when the pipelines blow up, the accounting office takes over and people have to be let go. And there's a time lag. And we're coming very close to the end of that time lag where technology companies could really start to see headcount. And you're going to see people let go in marketing and sales, customer service, maybe even engineering. And when that happens, that feedback loop can get pretty nasty. So I'm worried about that. Another thing I'm worried about, just because I think it's 40% of Nasdaq and 20% of S&P is those 5 companies that make excuse me, make it up. I'm wondering if we have an anti-Amazon campaign going on, and this is what I mean by anti-Amazon. As the states and cities open up, do you think we're going to order as much from Amazon? We're seemingly getting packages every day, and it's. I'm just wondering if people are just going to go shop in their local markets and give small businesses who are really in trouble more of their discretionary dollars, and that means Amazon loses, right? Has Amazon seen the peak of this health scare? Right, Costco was down month on month, and that's just another sign that maybe that stockpiling of goods is a one-time thing. So I'm wondering, as the states open up and we flock to our small businesses, does Amazon see a drop? It might be short term. You can certainly argue that, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens to Amazon. And I'm just curious if Amazon, like Costco, kind of saw its peak usage during this health scare. Next up, forbearance. I think last week it was 3.8. Again, I don't. It's Roland. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. I don't know that it's going to matter. I think they're going to be close enough, and I think there's, I don't know. It's just a question. There's certainly convenience factor of just ordering while you're sitting on your couch and picking it up later that day or tomorrow. I'm just curious. Been cooped up for 48 days, and maybe you're going to go shop in the market, and I don't even know if it's going to matter if it's $1 or $2 more. I think people are just going to want to shop. We're consumers, right? We're a consumer animal, but I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm not going there. So $4.1 million. That is $4.1 million. 4.1 million houses are in forbearance now. Thank you. I appreciate that. And that's up from 3.8 last week. So what was that? Like 300,000 folks. That's 7.7% of all mortgages are in forbearance. What is really interesting to me is that's 11% of FHA and VA loans. 1 in 10 FHA and VA loans are in forbearance. I don't think that ends well. I just don't think that ends well. As far as housing, we're starting to see some April numbers. As expected, consumer outlook for housing is, guess what, negative. 46% of folks now say it's a bad time to buy. 65% say it's a bad time to sell. Again, I think these numbers are so backward looking. I actually expect people to start listing as states open up. I believe and I could be wrong, we'll know in 3 weeks. I believe listings are about to expand. I think there's been 2 months of kind of pent up listings just waiting and waiting and waiting. And if you want to sell, I think you are going to start, listing your home. So I expect listings to go up. As of right now, active listings across the board are down 15% year on year. I do expect that to no longer be the case by the end of May, but we shall see. Next up, and finally, I saw an article about multifamily. Again, I put out a Fannie Freddie video yesterday about the chaos in big, 5, 10, $20 million multifamily deals. And it looks like a lot of the brokers are saying the rest of 2020 is going to be pretty slow. And the only sales that happen will be the ones that must happen. And they related that back to 2009. And having bought an apartment or two in 2009, it's definitely a market where you're only buying the distressed of distressed. The one we bought, the seller foreclosed on, and we basically took it back for the debt. And then another one was basically vacant and destroyed that we picked up for pennies on the dollar. All we had to do was escrow some repairs. So 2009 was a good year if you were aggressive and you were willing to work in multifamily. So 2020 could be very much like that as we roll into the second half. So that's what I have for you today. Remember, it's Mother's Day. Hopefully you've done something, or make them breakfast or whatever it is for you. Call some, if you're staying at home, why don't you call some people and wish them a happy birthday. Gosh, happy Mother's Day. And yeah, have fun, everybody. Take care.